Yes, you guys, welcome back. I'm NiniFC, this is Blue Lines TV, and today we have three big stories to break down and discuss. For the first story here, the latest contract updated news surrounding Antonio Rudiger's future. It's looking a bit iffy, you guys. Followed by that, we have a massive update surrounding the potential finances to get this Holland deal done. And of course, you guys, to end things, we have another big story, and that's our interest in RB Salzburg's Patson Daka. So you guys, you need to watch right to the end. Some big stories to discuss today. So if you guys are excited for the Euros, if you're loving the content, smash that like button, show your support. I want to go over 2,000 likes for today's video. And before we start with things, I want to give a massive shout out to OneFootball for sponsoring Blue Lines TV, because currently right now, in anticipation of the Euros, there is an amazing prize giveaway on show. One of you guys has the opportunity to win an England jersey, and all you have to do, you guys, is participate in the competition. It really is that simple. Go to the description, show your support for the national team, and win the chance of getting a free England jersey. Now I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do this. You have to go to the description below, click on that competition link. Once you get there, if you don't have the OneFootball app, make sure you download it, and if you do, you have to copy and paste or write down the first article you see. Once you do that, fill out the rest of the details, and it really is that simple. Honestly, I'm so excited for the first game to take off this Euro competition. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. I have a really weird feeling it's going to be a great tournament. And of course, you guys, as I said, to participate, you'll find a link below in the description. Now, you guys, we start with the first story. And with this story, this has been news that I've already told you guys beforehand. I guess now that it has been released by The Athletic, I guess it gives things more of like an official seal of approval. So at this point in time, as I told you, the future of Rudiger is in balance right now. Of course, the reason behind the centre-back links is because the club aren't too sure whether Zuma or Rudiger may commit their futures long-term at the club. As I said, The Athletic did confirm the story, and as we know, Rudiger currently has 12 months left on his current contract. And as we already know too, he won't commit to new contract talks until after the Euros. And I know what you guys are feeling right now. You know, Rudiger was such a valuable part of the team last season, played a key role in this team. How can we afford to lose him? What's exactly happening right now? And why isn't Rudiger committing and signing a new deal? Now, there are multiple reasons behind this. Number one, the first one is Rudiger wants to fully focus on the national team, and he wants no distractions behind the scenes, so that's more than valid and that's more than fair. Another thing though is, and it's one thing I allude to quite a lot, once players get to this part of their career, around this stage, you know, 27 to 28 plus, etc., this is the time they get their biggest and best contracts. And see it this way, if Rudiger left 12 months from now on a free, imagine the money he's commanding from a signing on fee, and imagine the wages he's getting, easily doubling what he's getting currently. Look at the likes of your Williams. He signed for Arsenal, he got a massive signing on fee as well as earning 200k per week. Look at Alaba, signed a multi-million signing on fee, and he's earning over 400,000 a week. And it all comes down to accounting and player costs. If your player cost is literally your wages, clubs can afford to spend a bit more and give you more to, of course, sign you up. So that is definitely one of the things that Rudiger's thinking about, because of course he has his own family. Recently he has a newborn kid as well, and these are the responsibilities that family men have to think about and have to consider. When you realize too that he isn't even one of the top 10 highest earners in the team right now, you know that if Rudiger is available in the free, every big team across Europe is instantly looking at him, because already he has big clubs circling and showing interest. Now, of course, Tuchel wants to keep him. Rudiger is also happy here, but one detail we can't forget is that Rudiger was not happy with how easily disposable he was at the start of last season. He could have been discarded and sent to, Paris Saint-Germain, sent to Tottenham, and of course, this was out of his control. So naturally, it's forced him to have to really think long, deep, and hard. This isn't going to be an instant reaction. Yeah, he won the Champions League, so but he's a top player, and he can continue to have a great career elsewhere. So right now, all we can do is just wait for more news to come and wait until after the Euros. You'd imagine if he has a great Euros though, that is essentially going to be him on the short market, and who knows, if he doesn't agree on a new deal, could we be selling Rudiger before his contract expires? Crazy news, you guys. But now we move on to the second big story today. We have some more updated news surrounding Erling Haaland. Now, a report did come from ESPN, and in my humble opinion, I kind of think that this is slightly a bit of a non-story, even though the connotations definitely can be discussed and can be investigated. Of course, we know that Dortmund want 154 million to allow Haaland to leave, and today ESPN state that if we were to sign Haaland, he could cost us around 300 million in total to actually sign him. Now for me, this is where it becomes a bit of a non-story, because if you do like simple guesstimations and math, let's say he's earning 300k or even more, when players are now earning 400,000 a week, you know that Raiola for sure is definitely looking at what some of the top players are currently earning. So you could do guesstimations, you can guesstimate the wages of that nature over like 5 seasons on top of transfer fee as well, and of course things like the agent fees and things like other costs like to his dad, etc, etc. So if you're showing interest in him, the 300 million isn't too crazy and isn't really a surprise. In Dortmund's perspective, the fact that they secured Champions League football, and I said this to you guys, this was the thing that makes things instantly difficult. Of course, you might be thinking, why don't they want to profit on him right now? Because that money they're earning, they can easily reinvest that and they're not losing. But when you get into the Champions League, that is such a significant amount of money, where in fact, actually, if you were to keep him for one more season, secure Champions League football, sell him for his release clause, you are still in a strong financial situation. But of course, Dortmund are challenging teams right now. We've seen them use the same tactics last summer with Jadon Sancho, and even though United came very close, agreeing personal terms for the player, in the end, there was a valuation difference of around 20 million. So Dortmund have shown that they won't budge. If you want one of their players before they want to sell them, you must pay the premium. And for me, this is where things get interesting, because is Holland not worth paying that premium right now? I keep mentioning this point, but imagine if Havertz decided to leave this summer instead of last summer. He gets no Champions League football, and if we don't win the Champions League, that was money that we're missing out on right now. Last season we earned over 200 million, and that's what happens when you're a big club. When you win titles, win trophies, you earn from the competitions that you're participating in. You earn from the sponsor deals you get on top of that as well. So for me, I definitely feel like over the long term, everything does balance out. As I keep saying too, if we had to sign one player this window, it has to be a striker. Look at Hakimi, for example. The assists he was getting last season were exclusively a lot of the times for Lukaku, and that is the power of having an incredible striker up front for your team. Right now, we don't have the option, so I can't help but feel it's a case of diminishing returns, and consider the fact that Hakimi costs like half the value for Holland. For me, striker and midfields, they are the two key positions we must get for this summer out of any other positions. So if I was the club, I would actually reconsider what the transfer strategy is. Of course, we can hope to see what happens as time does go on. Time's always the best thing. Could Raiola and Holland even put pressure on Dortmund to release them this summer? That could happen. From a financial perspective, Raiola would earn a lot more selling him right now compared to next season. And of course, Haaland would earn a ton more this season right now, on top of the fact that his professional needs also get met as well. If he's costing around 300 million, once you take away the agent fees and the other external costs on top of the deal, you're looking at his wages around, let's say like 300,000, just for the sake of this video, on top of 150 million as well. That's a player cost of around, nearly 40 to 45 million a season. That is a ton of money. But if the strategy is smart, if we're a club that continues to invest in the top quality talent we produce from our academy, we can offset those costs as the season goes on, because right now there's no top striker in the academy, even though we have incredible talents, but one right now that can get the goals for us to win us trophies instantly compared to Erling Haaland. I think it is that simple, to be honest. And if Haaland signs this summer and we win a Premier League title, we win trophies and we go deep into the Champions League as well, already for me, that becomes great business. So let's watch the space. One final hypothetical could be the fact that, similar to what United did with Sancho last summer, the fact they agreed personal terms and kept that deal alive for the following season, maybe that could be the best route for us to go down. Get Haaland to commit to signing for us for next summer, sign him for absolutely nothing, and in the meantime, go for a cheaper alternative in the market to help the team out right now. So this is where we now end things with the third interesting final story, and I hope you guys are watching to the end. We discuss the interesting reports surrounding Patson Daka from RB Salzburg. Now, these reports have come from Sky Germany, and they state that currently we are monitoring the situation. Now, I think that's one term that we have to definitely get familiar with during this window. We're going to be monitoring a ton of players up front because, of course, we're still hoping to sign Holland at some point this summer. Could Patson be a great alternative to have for a season before we potentially sign a Holland next summer? It could work out like that, and at this point in time, he has scored 34 goals in 42 games last season for RB Salzburg, getting 12 assists on top of that as well. And what makes things even more interesting is that he has a 17 million valuation over his head, which is crazy considering the talent that Salzburg keep producing up front. I mean, if they do sell Daka, which is looking very likely, they have Adeyemi in behind him, and they have Susko as well. Two young players that are ready to blow, so that conveyor belt at Salzburg ain't stopping anytime soon. But of course, I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions, and I think one thing we can't dismiss is the quality of the Austrian league. I mean, of course, it's not that strong, it's not that high. I'm sure you've been seeing in the clips too that, you know, Paterson's scoring from certain situations that a lot of strikers wish they probably had in the Premier League. But does that necessarily mean that he's inflated and not worth it? Definitely not, because when you look at his game, look at his shooting technique. Now, it's quite clear that he likes to hit the ball with power and aim hard and low. Now, there's some intelligence behind this because it makes it harder for goalkeepers to reposition their bodies to make those saves. And for me, it sums up the player because he is an extremely intelligent forward. He knows how to use his pace, his timing of his runs. I like forwards that constantly get on the end of team moves too, and he's a great penalty box striker. That's the type of forward that we need for next season. We're seeing how he's shooting with both feet. Hard, powerful, clean strikes. I mean, the technique is on point. And if you are able to secure Holland for next season, if you've got his word that yes, I will sign for you the following season, maybe it makes sense to look for, you know, a smart, more affordable alternative for this season where, you know, you could potentially get rewarded for taking a very inaffordable gamble on the player. He definitely knows how to get goals, and let's not pretend that Salzburg are producing tons and tons of players for the top divisions across Europe. So in that sense, it's not too much of a risk in my opinion. You know that Daka's wages won't cost too high as well, and the benefit you get is that if this move works out, you've got an absolute bargain that is bringing consistent threat to the team that suits how we play tactically as well. But at the same time, and I'm going to say this, I know some eyes are going to roll, but when you have a Tammy Abraham already that kind of has those threats already, why would you feel the need to sell him on to then sign someone cheaper? But maybe that is the business decision behind it. You know, that's the profit you're using to help you sign Holland the following window when his release clause is set at around £65 million. So as I'm saying, you guys, expect to see the word monitor being used time and time again for players we're looking at. So right now in the comments, you guys, let me know, would you sign Holland at any cost this summer? And on that note, I'm RUDI, this is Blue Lines TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more content. So cool.